All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about what Teddy Atlas, former ESPN commentator and new and recently a podcast participant, had to say about Terence Crawford, which I have to say is the greatest praise that I have heard anybody give a fighter in a very long time. And related to the Errol Spence Jr. fight, but just something that you should listen to. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about something that Teddy Atlas, the former commentator for ESPN, former assistant trainer for Mike Tyson. Everybody knows who Teddy Atlas who he is. Had some things to say about the Terence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. fight, and made some praise related to Terence Crawford that I thought was, man, this is the best praise that I've heard somebody give a boxer in a long time. Also said some things about Errol Spence Jr. where I was like, wow, I'm really glad you said that. That's one of the very few people that I've heard actually make this type of comment. Now, before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you're a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your support. It really does mean a lot, brother. And specifically, I want to say thank you to Kid the Great, who consistently supporting in the super chats, in the cash apps, in the live streams that we do, and in the super thanks, which you can see down there by the comment section we do in the video. Thank you guys so much for continuing to make this channel go. It really does mean a lot. So let's get into this. Teddy Atlas, who was had put up his podcast. Love listening to Teddy Atlas's podcast. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Teddy Atlas. I kind of take what he says as a mixed bag. I listen to what he has to say. Sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. But he has his opinion, and I can respect his opinion. He's had some things to say about Shakur Stevenson, which I'll probably do in another video, but he then had something to say about the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight. Now, the thing that he said about Terence Crawford that I thought was really interesting, and his explanation I thought was interesting too. He said that Terence Crawford, the reason he thinks Terence Crawford he's favoring Terence Crawford to beat Errol Spence, is that Terence Crawford has the best instincts of any fighter that he's ever seen in the history of boxing. He said that he's watched all the great fighters. He had tapes, watched tapes of Henry Armstrong, had tapes of Sugar Ray Robinson, had tapes of, obviously seen Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and everybody else, but he had never seen anybody with the instincts in the ring that Terence Crawford has. And he used this example of when he got hurt by Yuriorkis Gamboa, who was a featherweight world champion that moved up to fight Terence Crawford in Terence Crawford's first defense, I believe, of the lightweight title. And there was a point in time in the fight where Yuriorkis Gamboa hit Terence Crawford with a straight right hand when they were in the southpaw stance, and Terence Crawford got wobbled. And it was the response to him being wobbled by Gamboa that made him, he said, I had to look at it like 7 times. He said that he hurt him, and in the middle of being hurt, Terence Crawford switched from orthodox stance from southpaw stance back to the orthodox stance. And by switching to the orthodox stance, he neutralized the right hand of Gamboa, because that's what Gamboa was looking for. Was looking for a right hand. By switching it, he was able to get his senses about him and then keep him off of him by going back to the orthodox stance. And he said he had to watch it like 6 or 7 times before he could believe what he saw. And so after the fight, he goes up to Terence Crawford and he asked Terence Crawford, did you know that you did that? Did you realize that you switched from southpaw to orthodox and in the middle of that circumstance. And by doing that, you prevented him from hitting you with your right hand, hitting him with your right hand, and you put that and immediately got into a more defensive position, right? And Terence Crawford said, no, I didn't realize I did that. Now, that is why he says that Terence Crawford has really, really good instincts, because he did something like that without really even thinking about what he was doing. Now, I could say, and this is what I'm saying, I'm not disagreeing with him. I could say, well, Terence Crawford is naturally orthodox, and if you get buzzed, you may just shift back into the position that you're used to fighting in, right? But there is something to be said about the instinct that he had, right? And that was, a reaction and to something that he saw. Now, that's instinctive is doing things when you're not, it's just natural, you're not thinking. And clearly that is a level of talent that Terence Crawford has. And I just thought that for him to say that that's the greatest that he's ever seen, like, wow, man, I really have to go back and I have to look at that and see, has that ever happened to anybody where they got hurt and then they switch back into a stance where the guy can't hit him with the hand that they were looking for. Now, I do remember that Yuriorkis Gamboa fight. Terence Crawford wound up getting hurt because he had hurt Yuriorkis Gamboa. And in the middle of trying to get Yuriorkis Gamboa out of there, Yuriorkis Gamboa hit him with a big shot and buzzed him, is how I recall. Now, that plays on to the second portion of what he said about Errol Spence, where he basically said that he thought Errol Spence Jr. was fundamentally more sound than Terence Crawford, because Errol Spence Jr. is somebody that really does everything correct. He stays behind the jab. Right. He is somebody that wants to go to the body, but he is somebody that can box. He said that, you saw that against Mikey Garcia where he fights from the outside. And but as far as him being aggressive and wanting to get in on the inside, everything works. Everything is working behind the jab, and that he comes in, but he's still coming in a very defensively responsible position. He keeps his hands high. Where in the case of Terence Crawford will drop his hands more than Errol Spence Jr. will drop his hands. So, I just thought that was a really interesting observation and a very, very good critique of what he's seen. And again, I'm not in this video, I'm not going to say whether I agree or I disagree with that. I just thought that was a very good analysis and something that is akin to what a lot of people are talking about when they compare somebody that looks like they have a lot of natural talent versus somebody that is very fundamentally sound. Because in the way that those two things play against each other, that being fundamentals and talent, fundamentals are there so that you don't make very, very many mistakes and you're doing everything right. Now, talent is where you can take and you're paid, I think a lot of people are saying where you take the fundamentals, right? As long as you have the same fundamentals and you have that little bit extra that you can do that other people can't do, that can kind of get you over the hump, right? So great people fighters are made off, or athletes are made. Very, very good fighters athletes have very, very good fundamentals. Great fighters have very, very good fundamentals, but then they've got that extra bit of talent. He would call it instinct, extra bit of talent or intuition that other people don't have. So really good observations from Teddy Atlas. I say, the Yuriorkis Gamboa ain't anybody's Errol Spence, so don't get caught and hurt like that and think switching to orthodox is going to get you out of that. But we'll see. It is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.